Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video here on the ParkerLovesSports YouTube channel. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to spend them here with me. In today's video, we're going to go over my top 10 cornerbacks for the 2024 NFL Draft. This is my daily ranking series leading up to the NFL Draft, where I am ranking every position group, giving you my top 10. Today is corners, and tomorrow will be the very last positional rankings, as we're going to be ranking the safeties. Now, after that, of course, we are going to be doing my top 20 players, and then we're going to get into some of my final mock drafts and some of my final videos leading up to the 2024 NFL Draft. Now, if you do enjoy these videos, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as the support is greatly appreciated, and I'm hoping to want to do this as a career one day. Now, yeah, we're going over the cornerbacks today, and let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. And let's go ahead and let's get started. Now, as always, first things first, I just want to remind you that Jesus is King, and I pray that you give your life to him, as he has got a plan and a purpose for you. And I just truly hope that one day you accept Jesus with your whole heart and believe that he died on the cross for your sins. He sacrificed himself on the cross, lived the perfect, a sin-free life, sacrificed himself on the cross, died, and then rose from the dead 3 days later. And because of that sacrifice, that is the only reason why we get to go to heaven, is our faith in Jesus and the works that he did on the cross. Our works aren't good enough, no matter how many times we try and do something, whether it's reading the Bible a lot of times, going to church a lot of times, doing these good works a lot of times. And yes, those things are good and we should want to do those things, but it's solely through Jesus is how we're saved and how we get to heaven. And so it's an important message for me to share this at the beginning of every single one of my videos. I know a lot of people aren't going to like it, but quite frankly, I don't care, because it's an important message to me. And on this platform, I want to try and promote something that is important to me, and promoting Jesus as King is that. And now, with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump into my top 10 cornerbacks for the 2024 NFL Draft. Coming in at my number 10 corner, it is one of two corners on this list, actually, and this is Chris Abrams, Dein, out of Missouri. Now, Dein is a smaller cornerback at 5'11", 179 pounds, who has a high football IQ and the versatility to play outside or in the slot. I personally like him best in the slot, but if you want him to play on the outside, I do think he has the capability to do that in the NFL as well. Now, I said 5'11" is on the smaller side, and it is for a cornerback, but honestly, that's not too bad of a height for corners. Most corners, I feel like, are 5'11", 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2". Not a whole lot of tall corners. I think that he is around the height of a corner, but to me, he's a little bit on the smaller side. I personally like corners that are at least 6 feet, but Abrams' Dein is great in man coverage, and he does need to work on his zone coverage as well as in the run support game, because it is important for corners to get involved in stopping the run. Of course, they're not going to be making an impact at the first level. A majority of the time, it's going to be in that second level that they make a play and they are able to make a tackle. But being able to help and support in the run game, so these chunk yards, obviously, don't get picked up through the ground, these long runs, it's important to have your cornerbacks helping that. And a lot of corners, not the greatest in the run game. Some don't want to take those hits from the running backs. So I would like to see Abrams' Dein improve a little bit in his run support. He did have a lot of production at the University of Missouri, though, and he has a lot of athleticism to pair with that production. As you can see on the screen, we'll get to that in a little bit in terms of his production. But he ran a 4.44 40-yard dash at the combine, and he had a 33.5 vertical jump. Now, he has quick feet and he has quick hips to flip and run with the receiver and essentially shadow them, as well as he makes excellent plays on the ball. He's going to be closing in quickly. He's going to be diving, swatting it out of the way, picking it up, or picking it off, rather, as well as just making a play so the receiver doesn't pick up or doesn't get the reception. The quick hips are nice because he can flip them to run with the receiver, as well as be able to change directions very quickly. Now, during his career with the Missouri Tigers, he played in 43 games with 104 solo tackles, 32 assist tackles, 136 total tackles. He had 34 passes defended and 7 interceptions at Missouri. Now, moving on to my number 9 corner, this is going to be TJ Tampa out of Iowa State. Now, I think this might shock a lot of people because I feel like a lot of people are higher on TJ Tampa than I am. And I like TJ Tampa. I remember it was a couple months ago, 2, 3, 4 months ago, maybe even 5. But it was around the end of the season ish. It was November ish, December ish when I saw TJ Tampa, and you could draft him all the way at the back end of the 7th round. At least that's where he was being projected at the time. He's risen a lot, and I like TJ Tampa, and I do think he should be a high riser. But to me, I do think I'm a little bit lower on him because I do like other cornerbacks above him. But TJ Tampa has solid size for a cornerback he plays with a lot of physicality, and he also has long arms. He's a very lengthy cornerback. He's 6'1", 189 pounds, and he has 32 1/8 inch arms. Now, that size at 6'1" is very, very nice. Like I said, I like my corners around 6 foot. So being 6'1" and playing, well, he doesn't have the greatest speed, I will say. He's got decent but not great speed. He excels in press coverage. He's a very physical corner. He's going to play and excel in press coverage. And he's also able to alter a receiver's route at the start. Within that 5-yard window, when you can put your hands on the receiver, he can bump him, he can push him, and it's going to force the receiver to take a longer route and a longer path to get where he needs to be. So he does have the ability to alter that receiver's route with his physicality and strength. He also isn't afraid to come up and help out as a run supporter and in stopping the run. He will hit. He's not afraid to hit. He will be a he does help out in the run support as a corner. And he also shadows his receiver by trailing their route before jumping in front and making a play, whether that's an interception, a deflection, just knocking the ball out of the air. He does have, like I said, he's got decent speed, not great speed, not this top-end burning speed, but he will shadow a receiver and he can make a play on the ball if necessary. During his career with the Iowa State Cyclones, he played in 37 games with 83 solo tackles, 24 assist tackles, 107 total tackles. He had 19 passes defended and 3 interceptions. Moving on to my number 8 corner. This is going to be Kamari Lasser, cornerback out of Georgia. Now, Lasseter has great play recognition and instincts to always be in a position to make a play. He also has great footwork and is great in press coverage and in zone coverage. His man coverage does need a little bit work, and I know press coverage and man coverage kind of go together because you have press man coverage, but Lasseter is great at press coverage, at starting right in front of the receiver, bumping them, and then running with them. But he does need to work on his man coverage just a little bit, in my opinion. But he also excels at zone coverage, mostly quarters, which is 4 back. He excels in quarters, but he is a solid zone corner as well. He can play on the outside or in the slot, but in my opinion, I think he has the best ability to succeed as a slot corner. He has quick feet and quick hips and is able to flip and run with any receiver. He also is able to read the receiver and quarterback's eyes to get into position to make a play, an interception, a deflection, whatever it is. He is able to read the quarterback's and receiver's eyes to essentially get into position to defend and put himself in the best situation to succeed. And then he also has great ball skills. He's going to be able to track the ball down. He's going to be able to hone in on it, going to make a play. He's got the great ball skills, and he helps in run support. That really wasn't English. He's solid in run support, and he will be able to help his team out in stopping the run. Next, I guess during his career at Georgia, he played in 44 games with 60 solo tackles, 26 assist tackles, 86 total tackles. He had 14 passes defended and 1 interception during his career at Georgia. Now moving on to my number 7 corner. This is going to be Mike Sainristil, cornerback out of Michigan. Now, I will say, Mike Sainristil is actually a little bit undersized. He is on the smaller side at 5'9", 182 pounds. To me, he projects mostly as a slot corner in the NFL. He is going to be that slot guy. Probably don't want to put him on the outside. I could be wrong. He could prove everyone wrong and be an outside corner. But in my opinion, I think he should most likely be a slot corner in the NFL. but he is very athletic. He ran a 4.47 40-yard dash. He had a 40-inch vertical, and he had a 10-foot 11 broad jump. Now, he is solid in all areas of coverage, in his man coverage and in his zone coverage. I would say he's not the best in terms of press coverage, though, just due to his size. It's kind of limited him being 5'9" and being able to be a press corner in the NFL. I don't think that is going to be the greatest situation for him, and that's going to put him in the best situation to succeed. So I think press coverage is kind of off the table, but he is solid whether you run man coverage or zone coverage. He also is able to limit his receiver, or he is, oh my goodness, I had a typo here. He is also limited as he will get beat by taller receivers just catching it on top of him. He does have a good vertical with the 40-inch vertical, but taller receivers are going to be able to catch balls over him and pick up these big plays and make plays if they go on top of him. So that can be an area of weakness, but yeah, we'll have to see how he adjusts to it in the NFL. And he's also a willing tackler who's able to help out in the run defense and at times can be used as a corner blitz. He times those up pretty well, so as soon as the ball is snapped, he's off the line exploding and he's able to get into the backfield with those. During his career with the Michigan Wolverines, he played in 62 games with 70 solo tackles, 38 assist tackles. He had 108 total tackles, 13 passes defended, and 7 interceptions. Now, moving on to my number 6 corner, and this is going to be none other than Ennis Rraw Jr., cornerback out of Missouri. This is the other cornerback, and I just think Rraw is a little bit better than Abrams' Dein, but Rraw is a very physical corner who stands at 5'11", 183 pounds. Now, he's not the fastest corner as he ran a 4.51 40-yard dash, but is great in press coverage and in man coverage, so in both of the main things, he is solid. He's also a great run defender, and he isn't afraid to tackle the running back, and he fully wraps up. He's not going to be afraid to lower the shoulder, make a hit, and fully wrap him up before bringing him to the ground. Now, Rraw has somewhat of an injury concern as he had a torn ACL back in 2021, and this past season in 2023, he was out a couple games with a groin injury, so maybe a little bit of an injury concern to keep in mind, but for the most part, pretty healthy. But he does need to improve a little bit in zone coverage. I'd say he's decent at zone coverage, but does need a little bit improvement in zone coverage. During his career at the University of Missouri, he played in 35 games with 79 solo tackles, 28 assist tackles. He had 107 total tackles, 24 passes defended, and only 1 interception at the University of Missouri, which might be a little bit concerning, just because you would like to see his ball skills improve a little bit more, get more interceptions. But at the same time, I'm not too worried about it. I still think he's a solid corner. Going to be one of the more physical guys rather than athletic guys. But yeah, Ennis Rraw Jr. is my number 6 corner in this year's class. Moving on to number 5 here, it is going to be Cooper DeJean, cornerback out of Iowa. And he is, I guess, one of the rare guys as a white corner. Him and his teammate Riley Moss last year, who my Denver Broncos decided to draft. Kind of the anomalies here. But DeJean is the better prospect than Riley Moss. He has the versatility to play corner and safety, which Riley Moss does too, so that's not too different. But talking about DeJean, he has great versatility. Like I mentioned, he can play as a cornerback, and I think he will most likely play cornerback in the NFL. I think he does have the athleticism to play as a cornerback in the NFL. I think a lot of people are kind of put off, obviously, with him being a white corner, since the last one before Riley Moss was Jason Sehorn. But I do think he will play corner, and if he struggles, you can definitely throw him back as a safety, and he will succeed as a safety as well. Now, DeJean possesses some of the best ball skills out of this year's defensive back class, whether it's cornerbacks or safeties. He is one of the best. It's almost like he's a wide receiver out there with the ball skills and being able to go and get the ball and catch it and bring it in and come down with it. Yeah, it's like he's a wide receiver essentially. He's a very athletic cornerback who combines his athleticism with size, as he is 6'1.5", 203 pounds. I guess 6.5 feet. 6.5 feet, 203 pounds, and he also possesses decent arm length at 31 1/8 inch arms. Dein excels in zone coverage, and he tracks the ball easily in the air before using his closing speed to make a play on the ball, which kind of goes back to the ball skills, which makes him one of the best in the entire class. During his career with the University of Iowa, he played in 30 games. He had 85 solo tackles, 35 assist tackles, 120 total tackles, 13 passes defended, and 7 interceptions. Moving on to my number 4 corner, this is going to be Nate Wiggins, cornerback out of Clemson. And he kind of fell because what he weighed in at the combine kind of concerned me. I feel like the weight was a little bit low. Now, maybe that's just being a little bit too harsh, but I saw a lot of people on Twitter who thought the same thing. But Wiggins has great athleticism, size, and length at 6'1", 173 pounds, which is what concerned me. He had 30 1/2 inch arms, and he ran a 4.28 40-yard dash. So if you need a speedster at the corner position, Wiggins will be your guy. He had a 36-inch vertical jump and a 10'7" broad jump. Wiggins has a great back pedal, quick feet, and fluid hips. He's going to backpedal quickly, be able to flip his hips quickly to run with the receiver if they get by him in his back pedal. And then, obviously he's got great speed to run with the receiver, and his quick feet are going to be able to keep him with the receiver, whether it's a crossing route or whatnot. He's going to be able to stick with that receiver. Wiggins has great instincts where he reads the quarterback's eyes to jump a receiver and then make a play on the ball, and he is easily able to identify whether the play is a run play or a pass play, and whether he needs to come up and help him as a run supporter or still stay back and cover if it's a pass play. Now, as many of you probably noticed with his 4.28 speed, he has great recovery speed and is able to run with almost any receiver. Now, he does need to improve in his run support, as like I mentioned, he can identify the play, whether it's a pass or a run play, but in terms of helping out in the running game, he does need to improve on helping out and maybe get a more, I don't want to say more willingness, but be willing to tackle, be able to wrap up, lower his shoulder, and bring down the running back in space. But during his career with the Clemson Tigers, Wiggins played in 27 games, had 49 solo tackles, had 11 assist tackles, 60 total tackles, had 21 passes defended, and 3 interceptions during his career. Moving on to my number 3 corner, this is going to be none other than Kool-Aid McKinstry. I feel like a lot of people have started to drop and be a little bit lower on McKinstry. I remember back in October, November, when the Broncos, when we still had Russell Wilson and it didn't look like we were going to release him and we weren't going to go quarterback in the first round, I was like, dang, I would really like McKinstry. And every single mock draft that I tried to make, McKinstry was going top 5, top 6. The Broncos didn't even have a shot at him. And now I feel like a lot of people are pushing him to the back end of the first round, early second round, and I just don't understand it. I really like McKinstry, and I like the upside that he brings to the table to be a true number 1 corner. Now, I will say maybe a little bit undersized at 5'11.5", 199 pounds, but I think that's not too outrageous for the cornerback position. But he also has great athleticism. He's one of the most athletic cornerbacks in the entire class. He's also a very smart, high IQ football player. He is going to bring the intelligence. He's going to be able to know the defense, be able to identify what the offense is doing on offense and what he needs to do. Very smart and high IQ football player. He's easily able to read what the receiver and he's able to easily read the receiver and the quarterback's eyes to easily understand the offensive play and where he needs to be where he needs to be. He gets into position as well as he makes plays on the ball. I'm sorry, guys. It's a little bit late. I'm not talking super well right now, but He understands where he needs to be, and he makes a play on the ball. He also has good speed and acceleration to close in on the throw and make a play on the ball from anywhere. Deflection, interception, got that closing speed to affect the pass and get in throwing lanes. During his career with the Alabama Crimson Tide, he played in 42 games, had 62 tackles, 31 assist tackles, 62 solo, I should say, 31 assist tackles, 93 total tackles, had 23 passes defended, and 2 interceptions. Now moving on to my number 2 cornerback, this is going to be Quintin Mitchell out of Toledo. And I know Quintin Mitchell is the CB1 for a lot of people, and I understand why. He is an athletic freak. He's got great size, physicality, athleticism. I mean, he's 6 foot, 195 pounds. He has 31-inch arms, and he ran a 4.33 40-yard dash and had a 38-inch vertical and a 10-foot 2-inch broad jump. Mitchell also possesses quick feet and hips to run with any receiver and be able to change his direction easily. He's going to shadow the receiver, and he's going to be able to change his directions quickly. He's not going to get beat too often. Now, he's got a quick burst and speed to close on the receivers and make a play on the ball, as I mentioned, as I kind of mentioned earlier, with a bunch of other receivers. And he's able to help out in the running game, but I do think he needs a little bit better form as a tackler, as sometimes he'll go and he'll wrap up the legs and try and bring him down and doesn't fully hit and wrap up and drop him to the ground. It's kind of those leg tackles. So it does need to improve on that, especially in the NFL. And when Quintin Mitchell played at Toledo, which was in the MAC. So he'll be going up against better competition, obviously, and so he does need to improve that in the NFL. Now, Mitchell played in 43 games with Toledo. He had 93 solo tackles, 30 assist tackles, 123 total tackles, 45 passes defended, and 6 interceptions. Now, moving on to my number 1 corner this year, it is going to be Tyrion Arnold out of Alabama. You can say maybe I like him because he went to a bigger school, and you might be partially right because I do like the competition he faced, but that's not all the reasons. Tyrion Arnold has good size, athleticism, and length to him at 6 foot, 189 pounds, as well as 31 and 5/8 inch arms. He ran a 4.5 40-yard dash, but he also plays with some physicality as well. Now, he's great as a press and a man corner, and I would say he's decent in zone. Definitely his weakest aspect is in zone coverage, but I would say he's solid in all three, and he plays with quick feet as well. He combines his great speed and burst, and he closes in on the receiver, and he quickly makes a play on the ball, affecting it in the air, jumps in the throwing lanes, deflecting it, picking it off, whatever he needs to do, but he makes a play on the ball. He's aggressive in the run support, and he's able to help out his teammates and has a great tackling form. He also had great production during his career at the University of Alabama, as he played in 25 games with the Crimson Tide with 74 solo tackles, 34 assist tackles, 108 total tackles. He had 20 passes defended and 6 interceptions. But that is my list for my top 10 corners in this year's class. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy this video. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Parker, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.